Stay tuned for the end of the episode where I break down this wonderful workout, which is our 4th workout in the Winter is Coming Classic. It is a free online competition, and there are other workouts that you can see at trainingthinktank.com/winteriscoming.
Think Tank Throwdown!
Yeah! On this week's Throwdown, we got Naughty Noah demo the workout.
We've got toes to bar, kipping handstand push-ups, deadlifts, dumbbell front squats, and chest to bar pull-ups.
Lots of stuff. Now you say we release these workouts.
We release these workouts
every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Right here on YouTube.
On YouTube.
At what time?
1
p.m.
Nice.
Eastern time.
You do know.
I do know some.
Yeah.
Not very much, but I know some.
Check out our online training programs. If you're a competitor in CrossFit, check out TTT Compete. For those of you that want to look good and feel good, check out TTT Fitness. Head to trainingthinktank.com for more info.
This week's Throwdown is the Winter is Coming Classic event number 4.
4.
So 4 rounds for time of 21 toes to bar, 15 kipping handstand push-ups, 9 deadlifts directly into 30 dumbbell front squats, 45 chest to bars, and 30 more dumbbell front squats.
If you want to get on the leaderboard and do all of the Winter is Coming workouts, check the description down below. There will be a link there for you. And we also have movement standards and a warm-up for all of the workouts. Check it out.
Who's our demo?
Who's our demo?
Our demo this week is Noah
Schwolson.
Schwolson? Schwolson.
Tell
Noah
the-
Schwolson.
Tell the people about Noah.
Noah, fantastic guy, great individual. He's happy, he's hungry, he's ready.
Let's see it.
3, 2, 1, 0.
And we're off to the races. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I'm filling in for old Maxwell L. Hodge.
We already had you in the intro, asshole! Yeah. Let's talk about Noah doing toes to bar.
I'm a noob at this, clearly, if you haven't noticed.
Since we have an amazing athlete with us instead of Max here today, 21 toes to bar, would you do these unbroken if you're doing this workout?
Yeah, I think breaking it up just for me, if anything, or I would break it like 15 and then 6. But Noah, even training with him a lot, his speed on toes to bar is substantially faster.
Yeah, I mean, he's super compressed. He does a good job of getting back to the bar, too. Like, I think some people almost have to bend their knees and then slowly kick up. He's really tight.
I typically have a slower kick, which just makes me kind of feel like I can do a little bit bigger sets. But for him, I know he's a little faster. But I think 4 rounds, definitely, that's 84 toes to bar is going to add up by the end of this. That if you can hold it unbroken, perfect. But if not, you got to kind of also look at the compounding
Most people
effect.
watching don't try to hold it unbroken. Come up with a breaking strategy and a rest interval that you're going to try to hold to during the toes to bar.
Yeah, I think you're looking at someone that's obviously world class, and he's really good at both toes to bar and handstand push-ups. So he can take advantage of those movements, move quickly, break up the deadlifts if he has to. Obviously, he did that set unbroken. Let's see if he can keep it like that over the next 3 rounds.
So that was 1 minute and 15 for the first round.
So substantially faster than our other demos.
We had a few other people
Weren't
demo
you
this.
supposed to demo this?
Technically, I was supposed to demo. I've had some off training recently, and I vetoed me doing this, and now it has gotten past 7 other people to now Noah doing this, which is great. But I do want to point out, this dude's looking mighty lean and tan right now, so you can definitely tell he's enjoying the Miami life again.
He is happy and tan.
But is he hungry?
I mean, I'd be hungry if I
He
was
looks
that
pretty
lean.
hungry in this workout. He's
Yeah,
moving.
he looks awesome. One of the things I wanted to point out, we'll come back to it when he gets to the toes to bar again, but you'll notice how well he breathes through the movement. And the same thing here, I know it's kind of a little bit harder to see, but he's able to breathe through each of the contractions, whereas I think most people, especially with the gymnastics movements, yeah, like Travis is doing right there, start holding their breath and then they wonder why they blow up once they get off of the movement. That's because you're holding your breath and then you're basically your body's trying to like come back to a normal baseline. So learning how to breathe through those movements makes a lot of sense.
He looks like he's floating on the handstand push-ups.
It is super impressive.
I mean, I think the bigger thing too is if you are trying to create a fast time, is having like that fast transition of like he immediately drops from the bar, turns around, takes a breath, and then just kicks up. So I would say even if you're going to be breaking up the handstands, doing something like that where you do drop and then just kick up, even if you're going to do 3 or 4, but it's just forcing you into a more uncomfortable pace to start to improve the rest period. Because I know a lot of people will hop down, wait 20 to 30 seconds before they're trying to do an unbroken set versus if I just drop, knock out 5, and then shorten the rest after that.
Yeah, rest is never a bad thing. It's about how long you rest, right? So breaking up your sets makes sense for most people. It's just not standing around, like Travis just said, and waiting for that next big unbroken set. You can see that Noah did that, but that's because he can hold sets of 21 or 15 on his handstand push-ups, and he's okay. Most of us can not do that, and if we did, we'll blow up after the first round.
Oh, still holding unbroken. Oh, where are you going?
And his second set there was
there.
basically linear. I think it was like 1 to 2 seconds slower than the first set.
This one will definitely be a little bit slower because he's trying to go unbroken all these sets. So he's basically doing the opposite of what Travis just mentioned. Again, if you're world class and you can go do big sets and maybe rest a little bit longer before you do a big set, most people need to break these up, come up with a game plan beforehand, like maybe it's 7s on the toes to bar and 5s on the handstand push-ups. That can still be a fast time as long as you don't let your rest breaks get away from you.
I mean, he's still on a pretty fast pace right here. I think his pace hasn't changed much. You can see the transition after that last toes to bar, he took a little bit longer as he stepped over the bar. But right here, I think at the higher level, pushing that pace just to the bar and just start deadlifting. But
his rest is still short enough that breaking doesn't make sense.
Yeah. One of the things you'll notice is that he is actually faster on the eccentric, and that's a really good thing, especially in the sport of CrossFit, when you're not trying to do a tempo deadlift, but you have to keep in mind that you cannot bounce the bar on this. And that's the same rule that's in the open. I know we've had people that get no reps in the open workouts because they're bouncing the bar too fast. So keep that in mind, keep your arms straight. Travis is talking trash under his breath, and you guys can't hear it.
It's a tough standard. So
Yeah,
I actually went back and read it, and I thought before it just said no bouncing, but it says elbows must remain straight throughout the movement. So that's something it's a little
Start
bit
to
more black and white than no bouncing, because
people that
is
move
bouncing?
quickly often
looks
bend
like-
their arms too,
Right.
so it's really hard. I mean, you'd think that you don't bend your arms, but if you're a really strong puller, then a lot of people have that little elbow bend, so it is something that you got to practice.
which blows my mind. My bicep would come off.
I mean, I keep mine almost at a natural bend, but it stays that way and never
All
really
the way through.
changes. So I think if you can maintain it, it doesn't look as much. But when it goes from like straight to boom, boom, that's when it's questionable.
All right, so he's in his 4th round. He has 15 handstand push-ups and 9 deadlifts to go at the 5-minute mark. This is blazing fast. I don't think that you can expect, unless you're world class at these movements as well, to be this fast.
Nope.
Not gonna happen. Handstand push-ups still look really, really good. I think that's probably the easiest movement for him. The toes to bar maybe got a little challenging on that last set. They didn't look like
Yeah.
it, but I just assumed that they did.
I mean, he's one of the best handstand push-uppers in the world.
Yeah.
Push-uppers.
And I feel like just
Tied
any
with
sort
Jake
of
Berman.
yeah,
maybe?
any sort of gymnastics, I feel like he usually does pretty well at overall. And that's just kind of how he's just always done, even from like Fran in the old days. Like that was his jam.
So I always think workouts like this are interesting, where it's rounds, so it feels like this is the finishing kick, but it's not, because you still have more work afterwards of completely different movements. So would you guys still push this as like a pseudo finishing kick since it's your last time doing this movement? How would you do that?
If it was me, I would still try to just keep the same pace I held for the first 3 rounds before that prior, just knowing you still have a lot of work left. And I feel like in any traditional CrossFit workout, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. So going into something like this is a pretty long transition break, where if he would have just done maybe 5-4 and then had a faster transition, if this was me doing it, like those are the little things you're starting to look at to figure out how I can improve upon that and kind of get a faster time overall.
Interesting that that's how he's holding them. Going into chest to bars, because you could put them on your traps or put them on your shoulders and let your grip relax.
Yeah, this is something that you definitely, if you haven't been doing dumbbell front squats, practice in your warm-up. Start with lighter dumbbells and then build to the 50s or 35s, trying different variations. Maybe it's the handles on your traps, or you're straight up and down like you've seen Mia do with walking lunges before, or maybe it is the front rack position. Some people are really comfortable there. It's just,
Yeah, and his speed is really quick, and he's not doing big sets, so maybe it's not taking that much out of his grip.
Yeah,
That is-
I always like the roll in.
Yeah.
For me, it just kind of allows everything to relax, even though I'm like smashing my neck, but it seems to keep everything in my upper body relaxed to go into something like chest to bar, where you're gonna be using your grip a lot.
And so, like, for me, I hate that roll-in feel. It feels like I can't breathe because it almost
have
pinches.
agree.
You don't have
Yeah.
the mobility.
That great
bro.
mobility.
You don't have this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
more
like
like Mia, where
the
it's straight
trap.
up and down. I
Yeah.
feel like that's really comfortable, and it also helps me keep my torso more upright, which I usually don't do when I squat.
My only question on that is if it's ever considered back rack.
That is true.
Because half of the weight looks like it's behind your back of your head, which would be
Yeah. I mean, they could change the
close
standard.
to like looking like it would be in that back rack position.
For now, it's allowed.
Yeah. When people are like, I'm going to rest it on my head when they're going into the lunges.
That is true. Yeah, they allowed that in 2017 when they had front rack walking lunges where people were basically stacking it on their back. So unless that changes, it is worth practicing all of those in case you go to a competition or a qualifier and they change the standard on you.
And that happens frequently in the sport of CrossFit.
So this
from
is
every burpee standard
a
that has
piece
changed.
of the workout that is definitely a separator. You could either
Oh,
do really well leading into this and kind of blow it, or you can approach it in a smart way for your capacity and make up a lot of time here. Noah will probably go huge sets.
Yep.
But for most people, I think having a strategy, or maybe not even a rep strategy, but a rest strategy. Like I'm gonna jump up within a 5-second transition, do as many as I can without blowing up, and then I'm gonna hold 7-second rests or something like that.
Yeah, and the other option too is the same concept we've talked about in the past with what I call cluster sets. So maybe it is, I'm gonna do 5, rest 3 seconds, 5, rest 3 seconds, 5. That gets me to 15 and then take my longer break. So you have like these micro goals. Hey, I wanna get to 15 as fast as I can, take a longer break, and then get to 30, whatever it may be for you. Obviously that's gonna dictate or change based on your ability level, but that's a really good way to finish a workout.
Yeah, I feel like I typically do that with like movements I know I'm better at, is I'll be like, get 5 more, get 5 more. Okay, once I get to 5, okay, you do 5 more. Like wall balls especially for me, it's like, get to 30, no, to get to 35, get to 40. Okay, well you're already at 50, you can make it to 70.
Well,
and
most people,
like that,
most people can't. But
yeah, but I mean like that's the little steps of like trying to get better where you like, when you want to stop at 18, try to get to 21, and then that slowly starts to build, and then you gain more confidence overall at the end, and then now I'm doing, say, 30s instead of 20s.
I do agree with Mia that this can be a huge separator in the workout. Everyone can kind of grind on the front squats to finish this workout. They'll still be really tough, but if you lose your pull on the chest to bars, you could be screwed, especially for those that are just learning or not very good at the butterfly.
Yeah, I would recommend using that piece as a spot to really focus on not over-resting, like Brandon was saying before. Even if your sets get smaller because you're deep into a workout and you're under fatigue, just try to be disciplined with your rest intervals.
One thing I'd just point out is how fast, Mia, you mentioned this before in his first set, but how fast, well now he's pausing, but his front squats the cadence was just really, really good, and I would recommend that. Do small sets, do sets of 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever it is for you, and then take shorter breaks, keep them really fast so there's less time under tension. I think that's an easy way to get through them, and you can kind of handle or manage the leg burn a little bit better.
Yeah, see, I feel like if this was me, I would have a different strategy for that. Of like, me doing fast cadence on squats just doesn't ever really pan out well. So I would have a slower cadence, but I feel like I could almost do
bigger sets,
potentially 30, 40 unbroken before I would need to stop. But it's just a much slower cadence than he is.
And that's something to point out too. Like it's a limb length. Noah and I probably have very similar femur length, and we squat kind of similar with a wider stance. So for us, maybe a fast cadence makes sense. Travis a little bit longer probably doesn't make sense. But that's something that you have to practice doing EMOMs or intervals or anything else that you're doing a normal Metcon, and then you kind of learn what your strategy will be. And especially as we come up on the open, that matters. Oh, he cut it off so fast. What happened?
Great job, Noah. Thanks for stepping in.
You look great.
Let's go to that whiteboard. I'll talk today. All right, workout 4 for the Winter is Coming Classic is 4 rounds of 21 toes to bar, 15 handstand push-ups, and 9 deadlifts. To break this up, elites should most likely go unbroken or 2 sets. It really kind of is dependent on both grip endurance and your overall hip flexor endurance, but you guys watched Noah. He did these all unbroken, which is a huge separator in the workout. That's what I would suggest. For RX, I would plan your breaks out and do 2 to 4 total sets. Maybe it's fast 7s or 10 or 11, 10, 15, 6, whatever it may be for you. Come up with a game plan and manage your rest breaks on a clock. For intermediate, if you're doing the RX workout and you're gonna do 21 toes to bar, I would have a game plan where you're breaking as needed, but managing your rest breaks with that same cluster set concept. Maybe I do 10 to start, and then I set a clock where I'm gonna rest exactly for 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna jump back up and do an AMRAP -1 set, rest for 5 seconds, and finish my set after that. Come up with a game plan that allows you to get back on the bar quickly, even if your sets are smaller. For the handstand push-ups, I would say all of the same rules apply. Handstand push-ups may be a bigger bottleneck for those that are in the intermediate path. That's okay. Come up with a game plan that allows you to do small sets, take a quick breath, and kick back up on the wall. Even if you have to go down to doubles and singles in this workout, that's fine because you can still create some separation there with shorter rest breaks. For the deadlift, elites, fast reps, but it's okay to break. Noah did these unbroken. Most people, I would say, probably do a 5-4 to manage their heart rate, manage the overall fatigue, going back into the toes to bar and handstand push-ups. If you're world class at toes to bar and handstand push-ups and an okay puller, you can get away with breaking this up as much as you want by going fast here. For RX, I would use that same cluster set concept. For me, I'd probably go 3.3.3. That's the way I'm thinking about it in my mind. 3 fast reps, rest 5 to 10 seconds, 3 fast reps, rest 5 to 10 seconds, and then finish out that set of 9. When you finish the full 4 rounds, take a longer break before you start to deadlift so that you're fresh and ready for the front squats and chest to bar. For intermediate, the one thing that I'll mention here, if you're comfortable with toes to bar and handstand push-ups, but you're not quite ready for the load, that 315 and 225 pound barbell, go to the modified or the scaled workout that we have, do 4 rounds of 21 and 15 for the toes to bar and handstand push-ups, but then lower the deadlift weight, which is 225 and 155 for our scaled workout. Now, everybody does the 4 rounds, you get into the 30 front squats, 45 chest bars, and 30 front squats. Instead of breaking this up in categories, the way I think about this is a couple tips. For the front squats, we talked about this on the video, but again, as a reminder, practice your front rack position before you start the workout. See if it is a true front rack, if it's stacking it, if it's laying it on your shoulders like Travis talked about, and feel it out. Which one can I breathe? Which one can I go a little bit faster on? And then use that in the workout. And then also think about how that translates to how you feel with the chest to bars. If it's super grippy for you to hold it in a front rack position, that's probably not wise going into 45 chest to bars. So just a few things to think about. And then for the chest to bars, set a rest goal. Similar to what we talked about with the toes to bar, the way that I like to look at this is, okay, I'm gonna start with a set of 10, but all of my rest breaks must be 7 seconds or less for as long as possible. So maybe it's 10, I rest 7 seconds, but then I can only do 6 reps. That's okay, I rest 7 seconds again, and now I do 5 reps, and so on and so forth. And basically I chip away at those 45 total reps. That's it. Crush this front squats at the end. Have fun. We'll see you next week.
Lots of stuff, lots of stuff, lots of stuff, lots of stuff, lots of stuff. Let's see it.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pata in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pata.